I've been a farmer all my life. I enjoyed watching our little pigs eat dinner and play and just being outside. Old Shep and I were real good friends. We had lots of fun together. When spring came, I wanted to get outside, so my big sister Edna took me out for a walk. This is Jess Acey from Wyoming. My sister Gladys met him after World War I, and he almost became my brother-in-law. He and I were good friends also. Lauren, Edna, and I out enjoying ourselves. All we needed is a team of horses. We had a little wagon to play with. I'm sure I got a lot of free rides. My older brothers and sisters took good care of me. We were ready to go to the Clay County Fair. I've been to the fair most every year since. The 4th of July was a big day for us. We had our flags, and most towns had parades. Then we would have a picnic, dinner, play games, have races, and so forth. We enjoyed living in a free country. Lauren, Norman, and I having fun with our old horse named Nancy. Notice the 2 colts beside her. In 1922, my folks thought I was a big eater. So they decided to go into the chicken business. So we would have plenty of eggs and meat to eat. They built a new chicken house that would hold 1,000 hens, 60 by 20, double deck. My sister Gladys, Norman, and I admired my older brother Sam's car, about a 1914 Model T Ford. Gladys just finished painting it black with yellow trim. It looked real nice. Notice the carbide tank on the running board. This was all the lights that they had. The lights on the dash had to be lit with a match. No battery those days. Dad gave us boys each a calf when we got big enough to help. This is my calf and little brother, Delos. This is one of our colts. I was on my way to the field, so I stopped to have a picture of the colt and my niece, Charlotte Marvin, and myself. This is where I got my education. I started school in fall of 1922. This picture was taken about 1926 and 27 term. Winifred Holchek was my first teacher in 1922 and 23 term. She came back to teach us again in 1926 and 27 term. This is her puddle jumper, as she called her car, about a 1918 Model T Ford Roadster. This is Dad's first and only car, a 1926 Model T Ford. 4-door sedan with balloon tires, self-starter, generator, battery, electric lights, and so forth. Real fancy. He paid $640 for it. This is my 19th birthday. The government bought cows for $25 a head. This was in the Great Depression. We rode horseback to drive the cattle to Lawndale stockyards to load in a stock train stock car to ship to South St. Paul stockyards. My sister Marguerite lived in Lawndale. She and I have our birthdays on the same day, so I had to stop and have some birthday cake. In the wintertime, I would cut some trees down in the grove, pull them up in the yard with a team of horses, and pile them. When the pile got big enough, we would get someone with a motor to run the circle saw, some more help, and saw the trees into blocks. Someone usually had a old Model T Ford motor on two-wheel trailer that we could use for power for jobs like this machine. No chainsaw in those days. Then I would split the blocks as they would fit into the stove, pile and let them dry. I have this pile almost finished. My mother passed away in May of 1944. After Mother left, I got lonesome and decided to get out and look for someone to share my life with. One Sunday evening, I met a good-looking girl, and 3 years later, she became my wife. In 1949 and 1952, Ines and I were blessed with 2 fine, healthy daughters. This is Cheryl and I looking at our pigs and cattle. One Saturday, the girls and I made a snowman. Sunday we came home from church. We decided to take a picture of the snowman. Ines took the picture. This was our transportation. Only 2 people could ride in this buggy at a time. This was our transportation in the wintertime. Again, only 2 people could ride comfortable. In 1951, we had a wood and coal furnace installed in the house. Joe Mall sold us the furnace and installed it. 1953, Ines and I bought the home farm from the rest of the family. This is one of our potato fields in blossom. Also some grain shocks on the left. In 1959, I got hailed out. Quite a mess. This is the way we raked hay. We had some rough hay ground to hay. We used 4 horses on a 50-foot, 1-inch rope. 1 team on each end of the rope. Then 2 men would stand on the rope, drive the team, and catch the hay. We could get some pretty big loads that way. As far as I know, we were the only ones that put hay up this way. The day this picture was taken, our pastor and wife, Herbert and Mrs. Andrews, came to visit us. They like to take part in the farm work. When the women brought lunch out, Mrs. Andrews got on the rake to have her picture taken, and Herbert spent a couple of hours helping us. They came to our place quite often. They were our pastor from 1924 to 1939. We hauled hay in the barn as we needed it. We had to pitch the hay in the barn with a fork. Dad and Alvin Garrison are upstairs pulling the hay back. I'm pitching the hay into the barn. We only had room for about 8 loads of hay at one time. After we quit thrashing, Lauren bought a Minneapolis Marine combine. He had a W.C. Ellis-Chalmers tractor, and he and I worked together in harvest time. Lauren combined for me, and I hauled grain for him. I had a W.D. Ellis-Chalmers tractor and trailer. The combine hopper would hold about 28 bushel of grain. When the hopper got full, Lauren would empty into the trailer. I would sit in the shade until Lauren had another hopper full. That made about 56 bushel, almost a trailer load. I would hurry back to the granary and shovel the grain in the bin, then try to be back to the field before Lauren got another full tank. Then I would have to chance to sit in the shade again till he got the next hopper full. Lauren got a job in the ASC office in Breckenridge, measuring land, bins, and so forth. I started to work with Walter in harvest time. But he had a much bigger John Deere self-propelled combine, so I had more grain to haul. I bought a 16-foot electric grain auger and used Walter's pickup to haul grain. This went much faster. I wouldn't have to. I wouldn't have been able to keep up with this big combine if I had to shovel all the grain off. This was much easier. Later, I was working with Jim Braton. I rented his machinery on mine land and worked for him on his. I was plowing on mine with his 8,000 Ford tractor and a 5 16-inch bottom plow, and Alvin Garrison stopped in to visit me. There was quite a difference plowing with this tractor and plow than it was with 6 horses and 2 bottom plow when I first started. 1967, the Barnesville Creamery closed. We sold our cows. The girls each had a calf of their own, so we each had a check. Then I worked in Downer in the winter time to make money to replace the cream check. I'm getting ready for fall. Just finished cleaning up my garden.